Hello, everyone. There's been a lot of talk about the 2016 polling errors and whether the same errors will happen again on November 3rd. So, we're going to look at the electoral map and see whether or not the errors of 2016, if they happened again this time around, would have any impact on the election at all and be able to propel Donald Trump towards re-election. So let's take a look at the current state of the race based on the polls as of October 21st. We have 5 toss-up states. We have Iowa, Ohio, Georgia, Florida, and Texas, all basically even. We have Arizona tilting towards Joe Biden. We have North Carolina and Pennsylvania leaning towards Biden. And Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota likely Biden. As for Donald Trump has South Carolina as South Carolina and Alaska, as likely his, and also he has Maine's first district as likely his. Biden also has Nebraska's second district leaning towards him. Okay. So that is the state of the election today. And as you can see, if the election were to happen as the polls say they should happen, Joe Biden would win presidency. But there are lots of talk about, well, in 2016, the polls were wrong. In fact, they were very wrong in 2016. Who's to say that the polls aren't wrong today? So let's take a look at the 2016 polling error numbers. Nationally, heading into the election, the national polls had Hillary Clinton +3, and the actual difference was only 3 million votes towards Clinton. So she still won the popular vote, but it was basically an even margin. As for the important swing states, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Iowa were wrong by 7 points in favor of Donald Trump. Maine by 6, Minnesota 5, Michigan 4, North Carolina 4, Pennsylvania 3, Georgia 2, Florida 2, and Arizona 1. And why is this so important? Because the polling errors were all in very key swing states, very key states that were necessary to win the election. So it wouldn't matter if the polling errors were huge in Texas, California, and New York, for example, which they weren't. But it wouldn't matter anyway because those states are already decided. So everything that could go right did go right for Donald Trump in 2016, and he was elected president of the United States. So could the same thing happen this year? So let's move the state probabilities based upon the polling errors of 2016, and let's see how does that impact the election. So right away, we can look at the polling error in Wisconsin. 7 points. So if you take a look at where Wisconsin stands today, on average, Biden is ahead by 7.3 points as of today. So if the same polling errors that happened in 2016 were to happen today, Wisconsin would be a pure toss-up. It could go either way on election day. Let's take a look at Michigan. Michigan today Michigan is +8. And as we can see by the error for Michigan was +4. So Michigan would move to leaning Biden. If we take a look at Minnesota today, the average of the polls has Biden by +9. The polling error in Minnesota was +5. So Minnesota would actually change. Actually, Minnesota should have been, likely Biden, it would change to lean Biden. And Pennsylvania was +3 for Trump. If we take a look at the average for Pennsylvania, we discover that Pennsylvania is +6 for Joe Biden today. So if Pennsylvania is wrong by the same margin that it was wrong in 2016, Pennsylvania would remain leaning for Biden. I actually factored in a little bit because of some recent polls that came out today. So the more recent polls has Biden ahead by less than the total average. But even if you account for that, Pennsylvania should still be leaning Biden. If we take a look at Ohio +7 and Iowa +7, it's easy to put these as leaning Trump. South Carolina isn't on this list of polling errors, so we don't have to worry about that. Florida +2. Where does Biden stand in Florida as of today? Biden is plus 3, plus 3.8, +4. Let's call it 4. And the difference was +2 in 2016. So Florida would remain a toss-up. Georgia +2. Where does the poll stand as far as Georgia is concerned? The polls are Biden +1.3, although that doesn't really matter so much as the probability, because you see in Georgia, 538 actually gives Trump a 51% chance of winning Georgia. And that's probably right. But considering that the margin is what it is, I think that it's safe to leave Georgia as a toss-up, even with the same polling errors as 2016. If we take a look at Arizona, it's only +1. If we take a look at Arizona on the electoral map, we can see that Biden's lead in Arizona, I believe, is about, it's 4 points. So even if we move 1 point, doesn't matter in Arizona. And in Nevada, Clinton actually was +1 in the polling error margin. So Nevada doesn't change either. So if we take a look at the electoral map after factoring in the polling errors of 2016, we find that Joe Biden still wins 292 to Donald Trump's 150. Of course, if we wanted to be generous to Donald Trump here and simply give Donald Trump the remaining toss-up states, including Wisconsin, even if he somehow ran the table, the election would be the election map on election day would probably look something like this. And so for Donald Trump to win re-election, he would have to overcome even more dramatic odds than what occurred in 2016. The one positive that Donald Trump has on his side is that the polls didn't really start to swing his direction until about the final week before the election in 2016. And what happened during that week? You had the Comey investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails, and that hugely swung the polling just at the right time. So who knows if somehow there was another October surprise, maybe the Hunter Biden email scandal sticks or something, or maybe something else happens that we can't predict. Maybe during the debate on Thursday, Biden has a huge gaffe or blunder, or maybe he says something weird or crazy. Anything is possible. What would need to happen in that case, let's say that the most likely states that Donald Trump would have to flip would be Arizona. If he were to flip Arizona, he then would still need to maybe flip North Carolina and one of the Rust Belt states. So let's say he somehow flipped North Carolina and he won Pennsylvania. Well, he would win the presidency. But even if he, okay. So, or he only needs to flip Pennsylvania actually. So he would need to flip Arizona and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. So yeah, I forgot because we're factoring in the polling errors of 2016. So, in conclusion, if the 2016 polling errors are the same in 2020, Donald Trump would still need to flip Pennsylvania and Arizona, or some combination of Pennsylvania, North Carolina, in order to win the election. Pennsylvania still becomes a pivotal state, because even if Trump wins Arizona and North Carolina, that only gets him to 269. Although a tie goes to Donald Trump in this scenario because of the way the election laws work. The state houses would elect him president. So a 269 tie, could see a crazy scenario in which Donald Trump becomes president and Kamala Harris becomes vice president. Yeah, that could actually happen because the House of Representatives can appoint the vice president. Well, anyway, please leave your comments below. Tell me what you think about this scenario. Do you think the polls are as inaccurate today as they were in 2016? Do you think that we'll have a November surprise, an October surprise coming up in the last 2 weeks? Do you think the debates will change anything? Leave a comment, like and subscribe. I'm going to have all sorts of content besides election analysis. I'm going to partner with a very good friend of mine, and we're gonna have lots of content from astronomy to zoology. Right? We're gonna talk about everything. So until next time.